This episode of Her Design, Her Story is proudly sponsored by Royal Oak Floors, the founders of engineered oak flooring in Australia. Elegant yet durable, practical yet luxurious, Royal Oak Floors have formed the foundations of inspiring Australian architecture and interior design for over 20 years, with flooring products that are uniquely tailored to Australian lifestyles. Royal Oak Floors is proud to announce the launch of 4 new colours in its renowned architect collection, the result of collaborative workshops in which design professionals shared emerging trends, unmet needs and evolving preferences in Australian interiors. We're proud to partner with a brand that values craftsmanship, sustainability and the stories behind every space. Explore the new colours at royaloakfloors.com.au. Today's guest is Tara Solberg, founder and creative force behind the Australian homewares and lifestyle brand Few and Far. Based on the southern coast of New South Wales, Tara has built Few and Far from a single storefront into a thriving multi-layered business spanning retail, wholesale and online commerce. Creative from an early age, Tara grew up in Jervis Bay before studying design in Sydney. After graduating, she landed an incredible job as a graphic designer with surf brand Ocean and Earth, where she met her future husband and business partner Danny Solberg. Together, the pair travelled extensively, sourcing inspiration from around the world, experiences that would eventually spark the idea for Few and Far. What began in 2009 as a leap of faith has grown into one of Australia's most recognised homewares brands, known for its beautifully curated interiors and the philosophy of bringing the world home. Alongside running the business, Tara now also offers interior design services and trade partnerships. In this conversation, we'll explore Tara's career pathway, the pivots and risks that shaped her journey, and what she's learned about creativity, leadership, and building a business with purpose. Tara, welcome to Her Design, Her Story. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me, Sarah.
I'm thrilled you've made the trip from New South Wales as well. We've got a lot to talk about. You have your incredible business, Few and Far, which I absolutely love and have been following along online for a long time. So look forward to talking all things business with you shortly. But I did want to go back to the beginning of your career journey and talk about the first pathway that you took when you left school.
Wow, okay.
A bit of a step back.
So I studied a Bachelor of Design at COFA, the College of Fine Arts in Paddington in Sydney. And I guess I wasn't actually sure what I wanted to do when I left school. And the way that we came across that course was, at that stage of your life when you aren't really certain and you just sit at the dining table and flick through the book that has all of the uni courses. A few people have spoken about this book. Which I don't think it exists anymore, which is sort of I
sad.
don't think so. But I was like, well, and I remember Mum and I going through it and I was like, well, that one sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
So put my name down for that one and here we are. But I guess that course involved I studied textile design, environmental design or environments, graphic design. So it was a really nice breadth of design topics.
Yeah.
So it wasn't narrowed down into one. So I had a really good experience sort of working out what I wanted to do in what area of design.
Yeah.
But I probably still didn't know because then I kind of worked my way into graphic design and then realised that maybe interiors was more my thing.
Yeah.
But so from studying, I actually landed a job back in Sussex Inlet. So my hometown was Vincentia in Jervis Bay, which is about 3 hours south of Sydney.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I knew that I'd always wanted to live on the South Coast because I just love the South Coast. I love the lifestyle. I love just the fresh air, that, quiet, not too many people around.
It's a beautiful spot, yeah.
And so when this job came up, I was in my third year of uni. It was a 4-year course, and I managed to secure the role, which was amazing. And my boss Brian at it was with Ocean and Earth, a surf company.
Oh, right. Yep.
He was very flexible in terms of allowing me to finish my design degree, and so I travelled up to Sydney as I was working and
That's
finished
amazing.
that off. So yes, so from uni moved into graphic design in the surf industry with Ocean and Earth, and I was the ladies designer there.
Oh,
so
amazing.
we designed everything from the clothing, the graphics
Yep.
that went onto the clothing, the accessory range, all of the graphics for the accessory range, surf and hardware,
Yeah.
leg ropes, board covers, all of that sort of thing. It was a full-on job. It was,
Yeah,
but I loved
incredible.
it.
Yeah, amazing from a sort of a graphic background.
Yes.
So I know you then spent a little bit of time travelling.
Yes.
Did that come
so
after?
part of that job, it was funny, when I was in the interview for that role, one of the questions was, do you have a passport?
Oh.
Yes.
Excellent. Yep.
And so within 2 weeks of starting, I found myself on an aeroplane travelling the world. So we visited 5 countries in 2 weeks.
Oh, amazing.
So it was Honolulu, LA, London, always somewhere in Europe. On that occasion, it was Barcelona, and
Oh,
then
incredible.
finishing off in Tokyo. So
Amazing.
the jet lag was extreme,
Yep.
but the opportunities were amazing. And the goal of those trips was to basically travel the world to forecast what trends were happening overseas, because they were quite more advanced than Australia at that time, and to look at what was coming through in the clothing and graphics, all of the retail stores, travel over with an empty suitcase and come back with a full one full of samples and ideas and things, and then we would then build a collection based on that. So it might even be that we had bought a pair of jeans for the pocket design, or we'd bought something for the stitch reference, and then we'd cut everything up, kind of re-piece it all together, write all over it with Textar, write notes, and then send it off to China for production and see what came back.
That's amazing. So it was almost really like a fashion design
it was.
graphic.
And that's when I sort of I really loved the role, and I loved just that freedom of being able to kind of create as well, and to travel and, find out how that whole process worked. But then I did realise that fashion was not my passion.
Yeah.
And neither really was graphic design. And it's funny, it took me all that time to realise that, because I know in my spare time I'd always be reading interiors magazines.
Yeah.
So it's why aren't you paying attention to that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes it's sort of, I guess, if you've got those amazing opportunities around you, it's great that you had the opportunity to make the most of that.
Yes, definitely. And there were so many parts of that job. That's really what has set me up for what I'm doing now as well. I learnt so much. I met my husband there.
Oh, wow.
So Danny, he was actually the men's designer. He interviewed
amazing.
me, hired me. It wasn't a straight away thing.
No.
But so lots of amazing things have come from that job.
Yeah, that's incredible. So stepping ahead a little bit now, you've got your incredible business that I know you work with your husband on, Few and Far.
Yes.
Which you founded around 2009.
2009, yes.
So an incredible journey and a lot to talk about. What was that pathway like, going from working in Ocean and Earth and having that sort of set job? How did you evolve into furniture?
So one of the overseas trips that we were on, I would always be dragging Danny into the furniture and homeware stores. I loved anthropology. I loved the experience, or that feeling that you got when you walked into those stores. They really held me there for a long time. I could have spent hours in there.
Quite different.
Very
at the
different.
time, I remember, quite at the forefront of that sort of intersection of fashion and homeware.
Yeah, and very much about the experience as well, the detail in the fit outs and even just the product selections, and all of those things combined is really was made it so interesting. And I really loved that feeling, and I didn't feel that I had I didn't get that in many other places.
Yeah.
So I really loved that, and we also loved travel. Danny's a surfer, and he's always travelled to exotic countries and chasing the surf and bringing really weird things home, which he still does on our trips.
Yep.
Like he was travelling through Indonesia once and he came home with this wooden carved like abstract crocodile that weighed 80 kilos strapped to his surfboard bag. So
It's determination.
wouldn't put it past him to bring back things like that. So he loved travel. We both had a real appreciation for design as well. And so on one of those trips, we were in Melrose in California, and we had visited a furniture showroom.
Yep.
Which was on the way to some of the fashion stores we were meant to be going to.
Yep.
And the owner was sitting at a desk at the back of this showroom, but when you walked into the showroom, it was full of one-of-a-kind pieces from all over the world. So India, Vietnam, China, Africa, Morocco, all over, and just had this really beautiful global feel to it, like of pieces that you'd kind of never seen before. And when the owner was sitting at the back of the store with his laptop, Danny looked at him and he looked at me and he was like, I want to be him.
That's amazing.
And so, I sort of said, well, maybe we should try this. Let's have a go, because we were sort of both at the point in our current roles where we were looking for something more.
Yeah.
We wanted to be able to really kind of showcase our creativity and the ideas that we had. We're very passionate about, creating and having a bit more of a say in what we were putting out into the world.
Yeah.
And so that's where the idea was born. And I think it was not long after that we started looking for a retail space, and the plan evolved from there.
That's incredible. And I think for me, I find that really inspiring to have that moment. It's very easy to have that moment. I feel like that happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
Traveling, I'm
Lots
like,
of
that's
moments.
amazing. But then it's actually actioning that, which is incredible, because I think that's often that point of difference of
Very
actually
hard,
being able to pull it together.
Yeah.
What was that first experience like? Like, how do you find suppliers and how do you build up? Was that, because I'm sort of imagining at the time there was obviously a lot of online access, but I feel like that's evolved so much recently. How do you start to find those furniture suppliers?
Yeah. So in the beginning, and things never work out as you kind of imagine them to. And in the beginning, we, as I said before, like we loved the South Coast. We loved the lifestyle on the South Coast, that really relaxed kind of feel.
Yeah.
We knew that we wanted to raise a family there, all of that sort of thing. So we basically just had the plan to build a business around our lifestyle. What would that look like? Maybe a furniture and homewares store where we could kind of import our own pieces and bring in something unique and different that, wasn't quite around at that time, and have that real point of difference and, keep it fairly relaxed.
Yeah.
But so we looked for a location. I found a store in Huskisson in New South Wales, South Coast. It was a very dilapidated store and people had kind of written it off. It was at the end of the street, didn't have a lot of foot traffic, but I'd kind of had, being a local, living there all of my life, I knew that it had potential. There had been a very successful The Simple Shoe store in that store years earlier. Yep. So I knew that it could, if there was something in the right category there, it could draw people there. So we took that on, but the fit out was substantial. My dad's a builder, so I was very lucky, and he helped us with the renovation, and we stripped the whole thing, including like lifting every single floorboard down to bare earth, like the whole thing.
Amazing.
It used to be a video shop, so the walls were like on an angle. Oh. So when we pulled off all of these angled walls, they're like taps and windows and all sorts of things. So it was a very big fit out, which was a huge risk because we'd had to invest a lot of money into it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I think we were just so clear on our vision, and we just knew what we wanted to create. And for me, it was about that experience and rebuilding that kind of I guess that sense of feeling that I had when I walked into anthropology, for example.
Yeah.
So I guess, back to your question. I'll veered off a little bit
Suppliers.
there. Suppliers. Saying goodbye to your 9-to-5 job is not an easy thing, and it was quite nerve-wracking because I think for me, I love furniture and I loved homewares, but I always considered that anyone who had a furniture store, it was just a hobby and you couldn't make money from it, because I thought and assumed that, the everyday customer was somebody like me who would visit the store on the weekend, love everything in there, but walk out without having ever bought anything, because I just love to browse and imagine and all of that sort of thing. So I'm like, how can you possibly make any money from that? But we actually had a friend who had a furniture and homeware store, and we contacted her and she guided us through the process.
Amazing.
She was very generous. She gave us access, showed us her books because she'd recently sold the business. So we could actually see that you could make a very generous living off having a furniture and homewares retail store. So that kind of gave us the confidence to be able to take that step and to go, okay, we're going to do this. Let's see how we go. And that was a big key in making that decision.
Yeah.
And then she actually helped us through that initial process, like how to budget in terms of maybe how much stock to start buying.
Yeah, because I'm thinking all those sort of practical questions.
Yes. Yeah. And I think I jumped on a plane to Melbourne, and it was Decor and Design was like the first trade show that I ever went to. And I remember we had a loan from my parents, as we also had, like, Danny had a big boat and everything that he and his brother owned. We sold that to get the money for the fit out and stock, but we were a bit short, so Mum and Dad lent us some money. And I remember calling them saying from the trade show going, I've just placed this many orders and I've just spent all of our money.
So cross your fingers.
I hope that this works, But I just remember never doubting myself and never
which
doubting
is really
the idea.
key.
Yeah. So it was a big confidence thing.
Which is incredible, and I think sort of wonderful that you were able to sort of identify that feeling, because I completely get what you mean. There are a few stores that I love going back into because it's just, for whatever reason, for me, it's often a combination of fashion and homewares, and I'm thinking particularly in America there's some really good examples of that.
They do an amazing
and
job.
that scale of space often in their some of their residential experiences.
Yes.
Obviously stepping forward to now, you've had an incredible 17 years, which I think's amazing, and a real credit to both of you that
Thank you.
It's just gone from strength to strength. What does the structure of your business look like now?
It's a lot.
Have you got a bigger team?
Yes, it's a lot more complicated than that initial plan of having that single store. So back then, both Danny, I started working in the store when we'd opened, and then we kind of thought, let's just see how this goes, and then how long does Danny need to stay working? So he stayed at Ocean and Earth. I finished up to start the business. But it was I think we opened the store in September, and I think October he ended up quitting his job too and coming in with me.
Yeah.
We had very successful first day, like first month. It was like, I just wanted to be able to pay the rent. But then on the first day, I was like, okay, we've got something here. This is going to work.
That's incredible.
So Danny came into the business and we both worked in the store. He was it's funny because we had a desk set up at the back we had a bit of a design office, and he would kind of sit himself at the desk and do a lot of like the background computer work and things. But I think most of the time he was doing footy tips.
Oh. All the important things, checking the surf report.
But from there we actually we got this funny idea that we wanted to create our own competition within Huskisson and opened a second store.
Oh, amazing.
So we opened a second store within the next year. So much for that lifestyle cushy, And we called that Indigo Love.
Yep.
And we actually opened it in collaboration with a food brand called Pilgrims. They're a well-known vegetarian cafe down in Milton. And we opened it with that kind of feel. We loved, Danny being a surfer and everything, he loved the brand Deus by Dare Jennings. And so we wanted to kind of create that vibe of, like you were talking about, like there was some homewares, furniture, we had clothing in there, and then with the food and all of that. So we'd brought in a big coffee table from Indonesia where Deus were really generous in providing a motorbike. So we had this motorbike on the coffee table with, it had a really, really good vibe.
Yeah, cool.
From there, we bought a little cottage in Huskisson and moved Indigo Love into that and just focused predominantly on our homewares and furniture because that's what we knew that we were really good at. And I think the clothing side was maybe taking a lot of the attention away from that. We were having to travel up to Sydney for showings and everything, quite a lot. And then from there, the business just grew. We'd already been importing furniture since before we opened our first store, so I probably didn't even cover that. But before we opened Few and Far, we did a trip to Indonesia and just decided that we, on a whim, would just import a container of pieces from there because we wanted, like, from the moment that we opened the store, we wanted it to feel different. So we needed to find pieces of our own that weren't in everybody else's stores. So we did that. And then from the experience that we'd had throughout working with Ocean and Earth and the travel and dealing with international suppliers, we then decided we'd love to start importing from China. Mainly antique pieces, so it was all one of a kind, and that was that's a whole nother story.
In terms of that supply network, is that a lot of travelling and visiting and researching to find that right alignment? Because I imagine it would be quite overwhelming, the amount of opportunity out there.
Initially that started out as like a search on Alibaba. Indonesia was different. Indonesia was was a lot simpler. Like you can get on a motorbike and ride around and sort of find suppliers quite easily. Whereas China was a completely different ball game.
And I mean, particularly looking at the timing as well, they've just got bigger and bigger and bigger in that manufacturing sense.
And so it was basically an Alibaba search. And then Danny jumped on a plane. We didn't both go because we didn't have enough money to, in case this didn't work. And we just gave him 3 days. We thought, okay, 3 days is enough for you to fill a container if you can find something, and not too long for us to waste money for you, of you being over there. And I think it was on the first half of the third day where he rang me and he was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make this work. Like, I can't find anything. Nobody can speak English. I'm just not getting anywhere. And then later that day, he's like, I've done it. I found somebody. He found a freight agent that could speak English. She came round with him to all of these suppliers and was able to kind of translate and, negotiate all of those sorts of things. And he managed to pull together a container in like half a day and then got on the plane and
that's
went.
Incredible. Do you still work with a lot of the same suppliers?
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of it it's been interesting speaking to people across different sort of facets of the industry, but it sounds like that supply relationship's really quite key to
definitely
trust and lead time and quality and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, for sure. And, we've got such established relationships with so many of our suppliers, which has been really important. And I think it makes things so much easier because you get to learn more about each other, how you work, what your expectations are, all of that sort of thing, as well as just being able to kind of, there's a lot of travel involved and we can't be there all the time. So now we do a lot of our communication, obviously via email or WhatsApp or anything like that. And because they've worked with us for so long, they know like our look and feel and what we're after.
Building up of that relationship, which is important. I would love to touch on in terms of, I guess, marketing and getting out to the market, particularly where your business started. no doubt a very focused market, but in terms of that growth, I know I've rely on your website, which is fantastic. And I have been to your store in Bowral before, which is beautiful. What was that process like? You've obviously had great success locally. From that growth strategy, what was that next step for you in terms of actually getting out there and sort of beyond, I guess, where your store base?
Yeah. That was probably a slower journey for us. We grew pretty quickly through our store network. So we started in Huskisson. We opened the second store in Huskisson. We then opened a store in Berry, Bowral. We had one in Lura in the Blue Mountains, which we closed just before COVID.
Yeah.
And then, we've now got Thirroul and Rosebery as well. But outside of that, I guess it was probably later in the piece where we thought, okay, we really have to build our online store and our online presence and all of that sort of thing, which was it was lucky we had that all in place just, before COVID hit.
Oh, wow, yeah, because that sort of changed.
We had an advantage there. But the online side is probably, and it's probably one of the areas that we're focusing more on now because there is such a huge growth opportunity. And being based where we are on the South Coast, we don't really have that very much brand visibility when it comes to capital cities and all of that side of things. So online is a focus. Marketing, I'm still learning that.
I know, it's sort of like how many hats can you wear?
Yeah. But definitely have learned a lot along the way. And but we've always just tried to stay true to our brand essence. Like we always make sure that a lot of our pieces, they tell stories, and we like to tell the stories behind certain things and why we bought them or what they used to be, if they've had a previous life, all of that. So it's very much about that for us, and even our in-store experience. So I think in future and for now, our biggest focus is really making sure that we can also, I guess, offer that same feeling that we bring in store to our online
Which was obviously really that pivotal starting point for you as well. Yeah, and I know that online, you can see it must be very hard to stay on top of as well in terms of stock and if you have any one-off pieces. And
definitely. That's a logistically challenging part of the business, the one of a kind side.
Yeah. What's the sort of size of how many staff do you have now?
We have about 60 staff.
Oh, wow.
Across the whole business. That includes obviously retail staff. We have our own warehouse being located on the South Coast, and the nature of our business, we need to have our own warehouse, and we have our own delivery team. We've got trucks, vans.
Oh, that's incredible.
Our office team our warehouse is based in South Nowra. Yeah. So it's been steady growth trajectory.
Yeah, in terms of growing a business, I always find this really intriguing because in my head I just think that to me is mind-blowing, even that logistical element.
Yes.
And seeing, being more on that specifier side, seeing how different people in Melbourne are sort of testing out different delivery, protocols and how much control you can have over that and if something goes wrong, that kind of thing. Have you had some amazing business mentors? Like how have you taken things to the next level, or do you find it's a little bit intuitive, bouncing off each other?
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
We've definitely had some amazing business mentors and do still now.
Yeah.
When we started, it was literally just going off our gut feel for quite a lot of years. But then with both Danny and I being creative, it's been quite challenging in, obviously strategy and
we can't be good at everything. No.
All of those sorts of things, like the numbers side of the business and all of that kind of thing. But, and one of our old accountants used to say, Danny wears the pants, but Tara tells him what colour. Oh. But I wish that Danny had have been like an accountant or, I wish that we were sort of that yin and yang kind of thing, but we're not. So a lot of it has been gut instinct, but where it has come to the business side of things, we have relied on mentors, and we did that quite early on in our journey as well, and really saw the value. Like I can't even remember how long ago it would have been. I think it was maybe even probably 10 years ago. We were paying $1,500 an hour for a mentor that we were driving up to Sydney to see once a month. Like, we really placed so much value on that.
Yeah, because often I sort of sit here thinking, gosh, how do you even find?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of it's, someone who would share that value and the vision that you have.
Yes.
As well, which is
and I think
important.
The biggest part for me is at the moment I have multiple.
Yeah.
Because I need them in different areas as well.
Yeah.
So I have always probably kind of always tried to seek out those that can help me or advise me, or even like friends in business. Like, that's amazing. Like, I've got a lot of amazing friends who are very generous in sharing their information, and we talk about different ideas and things. I think that's really important as well, building like that network, because again, being on the South Coast, that's probably one of the reasons why I am part of so many different business groups and things, because you don't have that network of people to talk to.
Yeah.
And I often feel like it can be a little bit it's harder to kind of grow and find, oh, you do it that way. Okay.
Yeah, because there's so many different facets to it, I guess. Is the bigger part of your business online now, or is it still that in-store experience that you
It's a combination. So we actually, again, to make life hard for ourselves, we have our 5 retail locations. We have online, we have interior design services, and we have a trade and wholesale arm of the business, which is Indigo Love.
Yeah.
So when we ended up closing the Indigo Love store and just keeping that as our trade arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all a fairly even spread at the moment. It's interesting. It's really changed over the years. Retail has always been a fairly significant chunk, but then at one stage, I think, and then because we'd never focused a lot on online, it was like much lower, but now it's quite a higher percentage. So it's always different. It changes.
Yeah, incredible. And I think obviously now with that sort of ability of people feeling like they can buy anything from anywhere, probably in a great way, it sort of opens that network up.
Yeah, it's become a lot more competitive, that's for sure, especially with online, and retail is not the same as it used to be. Yeah. Even we've got a lot of even having the trade and wholesale arm with Indigo Love, like, we've really noticed the impact the last few years have had on small business around Australia.
Yeah.
A lot of stores closing, all of that sort of thing. So it can be tough, but that's where I feel like you really have to be very cemented in sticking to your vision, making sure that people are understanding your brand, and you've developed that community.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can imagine that. And I think if I was looking at brands as well, I think the fact you've had such incredible longevity to me would be an amazing selling point. Yes. Like, I think there's that sort of wonderful trust and understanding of a brand.
Yeah.
As well. I can imagine, obviously, over time, a lot of your evolution is also having a look and seeing, probably similarly to that fashion aspect of what's coming, what's happening, where are we going next? Yeah. How is that something you are just still constantly travelling? How do you evolve sort of what new pieces are coming in? Is that quite a structured process over the course of the year?
Yes, semi-structured.
Yeah.
Good question, because I guess too, one of the important things to us as a brand is that we are not trend driven as well. So we like to build quite timeless interiors. Obviously, if there is a trend that we love, we will always be kind of leaning into that. But as a brand overall, I really love to just have that timelessness about it, and that's why we love to mix the old with the new. And I it's difficult for me to explain the overall feel of the brand. Like, I have this conversation with Danny, and I said, so how would you explain it? And he's like, it's about the mix. I'm like, the mix. Okay, yes, but what mix? I'm like, is it the old and the new? He's like, well, it's everything. It's the old and the new, the raw and the refined. Like, it's about mixing textures and like, and that's what I feel like we do really well. So that's always been a big focus. But in terms of inspiration, for me, obviously travel is a huge one, and it's always been the source of our inspiration. Not just sort of what we can source from overseas or find overseas, but even just different interiors, like the different styles from around the world. Bringing little bits of all of those into our brand or our world kind of thing. And even just where I get the greatest source of inspiration too is not just from travels, but if I am traveling and I stay in an amazing hotel or really, again, it comes back to that experience and how do I feel when I'm in this environment. And I guess when you stay in an amazing hotel, that's kind of that says it all right there. But I was fortunate enough to stay at the Santa Monica Proper by Kelly Worsper.
Fantastic,
recently,
isn't it? Yes.
And oh my gosh, everything about that was
I know, it's funny. And I remember sitting in the lobby there with a girlfriend who were just sort of dissecting me, like impossible to draw it.
Exactly.
You could never plan that out on paper.
No.
So much of that is just visionary and the scale and just all the little ornate details.
And the mix.
But even the rooftop.
Oh, everything.
The way it's planted, it's just got this most incredible feeling to it.
Yes. And I think, again, that's one of those things where that's the feeling that I want to create. And then they're the conversations that Danny and I have. Okay. And he's like, well, how would you describe the feeling that you get when you walk into somewhere like that? And I just say,
I think it's that eclectic nature as well. It's not predictable.
Definitely.
It's
definitely.
And it's brave, I think.
Yes.
It's the scale. And I think that's what's so beautiful about a lot of your pieces is I'm just thinking about the projects I've put them in are all so different.
Yes.
But it's that sort of one-off quirky element.
Yeah, and that's definitely, what we've set out to achieve. And like that feeling when you walk into the Proper lobby, for example, like that's really what we're drawing on. Like we want to present a range of pieces that somehow just go together.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to have that catalogue where it's everything matches or it's like you're walking into this perfectly designed interior where nothing's out of place kind of thing. Like we just want to, not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just not who we are.
Yeah.
I just like it gives you that, I think a sense of warmth or that lived in feeling is really important.
Yeah, which is incredible. I did want to then touch on, I guess there's this wonderful sense of intuition to a lot of work that you're doing, which I think is really inspiring because I think we can often be our own worst enemy sometimes when we sort of critique. And particularly having had such incredible longevity and sharing the business with your husband as well, which I think is amazing. Are there any sort of, I guess, in a reflective moment, thinking about the incredible journey you've had so far, are there any other key attributes which you feel that you possess which have really helped you, I guess, navigate over 17 years and keep that motivation going?
A key thing for me, aside from intuition, is I think, and I've often thought about this too, like what is it, when things get hard and people say, well, what keeps you going? And you always think about what's the why behind what I'm doing. And for me, I've really nailed it down to like I love what I do, and the why behind why I love what I do is I love being able to bring creative ideas to life.
Yeah.
And I love it when, if we're traveling and we see that really amazing, unique piece of furniture, I don't look at it as a piece of furniture. I straight away am imagining what interior I could put it in or where it belongs or what house would it look just, amazing in. So it's really bringing all of that together and even opening stores. Like I love designing the fit outs and then seeing it all kind of come together and come to life.
That's amazing.
It's my favorite. It's definitely my favorite part about all of it.
Yeah.
And that's where too, even with the interior design services, like being able to create and work on multiple different styles of interiors and really having those pieces, like being able to incorporate our pieces into those interiors and seeing that vision come to life definitely is what keeps me going.
And that spatial creation.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. You've obviously, the business is growing and still going strong after 17 years. And I know you've touched on that focus on the online presence. Are there any other sort of key things on the horizon for you in the next 12 months?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And everybody always tells me I have too many ideas.
Can never have too
can't
many.
keep up with me. I'm working on a very exciting, sneaky, secret idea at the moment. But so, it's only just in the very early stages at the moment. But I am working on a new collection. Not that that's any kind of secret, but more around, I wanted to do something like, obviously Few and Far is a culmination of all of the things that we love anyway, and it's how we put them together. But this particular collection that I'm working on has been inspired by some of my recent travels, and it's all about, it will be more personally branded.
Oh,
so
amazing.
more kind of like by Tara kind of thing. And it's sort of more, I guess, I wanted to be able to create pieces that felt like they were unique or almost one of a kind, but they're not.
Yeah.
Because logistically, the one-of-a-kind side of the business is what sets us apart and makes us different, but it's very logistically challenging.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be able to almost recreate that feeling of, say, for example, the Santa Monica proper lobby, where you've got this collection of amazing vintage pieces all collected together. And so, this new collection is based on that sort of an idea of having really quite unique pieces that have all been designed to come together as one.
Well, that's really
collection.
exciting. So you're working with suppliers that you've had a good relationship with over the years? I can imagine. Is that quite a timely process?
Very timely.
Back and forth, yep.
So production is always a timely process as it is, but when you throw in, designing particular pieces and collections and things, it does draw it out quite a lot longer, which is why I say I'm in the very early stage of this, and I'm not quite sure when this will be released just yet. But I do, over the years, obviously having built relationships with different suppliers, we have a selection of very high quality suppliers, and it's exciting to be able to come
that's
together
good. And probably
with them.
great in a sense, not having to meet certain marks seasonally or, it's just fairly organic.
We've definitely changed the way that we're doing things over the past year. And we're just sort of, I guess you'd call it more going with the flow. Like it's more, let's just come up with, pieces and introduce them when it feels right for us, rather than when, everyone else dictates that this is when you should come out with a new collection. We want it to be a little bit more of an organic kind of flow, and to make sure that the pieces are right for that particular time.
Yeah, that's exciting. I know this year as well you travelled to Milan Furniture Fair for the first time.
Yes. How
did you find, was that just an incredible, sort of inspiring experience?
Oh, it was amazing.
I'm definitely on my to-do list.
It's it was the first time, and I just sort of said to myself, Tara, you've been in this business now for coming up to 17 years and you still haven't been to Milan or Paris for the design fairs, and this year is your year.
Amazing.
I think we were talking about it before, but I obviously have to travel to India and China quite frequently throughout the year. But this year I think for me was all about, not that business isn't fun, but because I've been doing the same thing for so long, I'm like, I need something a little bit different. So I actually decided not to travel to China in April this year and went to Milan instead.
Brilliant.
And it was amazing. It's definitely like such a source of inspiration.
Yeah.
There were so many ideas to be taken away from it. I wasn't really there for maybe like the product design so much, but again, I'm all about experiences and how you feel inside an interior.
Spatial experience.
So I really wanted to go to see how like the different exhibitions and installations and things made me feel and what I could take from each of those to implement into our business. A lot of the products are pretty out there. But so for me it was very much about the feeling and lots of ideas.
Oh, that's good.
It was exhausting, if I'm allowed to say that.
It was hard work. No, I think any of those fairs you're sort of trying to tick all the boxes and cover all the things, and then I get a bit of FOMO if I've missed something. Particularly if I think that's why in my head I was saying I was at an event last night and saw a girlfriend and I said, I just want to go with you next time and you can just tell me where to go and what to do. I think it's quite an overwhelming.
Yeah, well, I was actually I took a colleague along with me and I'm so glad that I did because she's very, very passionate about design too. But it's been her first time, and because it was her first time, she did such an amazing job of the itinerary.
Researching everything. I know you need one person to kind of
because I was so busy in the lead up. I just hadn't had any time to kind of think about it, but I knew that she was working on it and I was like, she's got this under control.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's nice to share that experience with someone.
Definitely. I wouldn't have wanted to do it on my own. It's just a lot more enjoyable with somebody else.
Yeah, which is incredible. I did also want to touch on coming back to that idea of lifestyle. I think that's wonderful that you've really stuck to your belief in where your stores are and where you operate your business from. I think it would have been very easy to kind of cave and move up to Sydney. And I know you've got youngish children.
9 and 12.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that's always really exciting that they would have grown up knowing the business as well.
Been a big part of it.
Yeah, which is incredible. Have you found that choice of location has really helped you in terms of keeping that balance a little bit between work and life? Yeah.
Definitely.
Blurred boundary, but
we still are very focused on lifestyle. Like that is a big thing for us, and you know. We have, I guess, the thought process of we're not here to just be working. Like I do love what I do, but I also love where I live, and I really want to be able to enjoy that. We're very family oriented, so we're always, making sure that we're making time for the kids and all of that sort of thing. But then Danny and I have had to obviously separate in terms of what we are doing. So I'm more involved in the business these days, and he's an amazing stay-at-home dad.
Brilliant. Yeah.
He's still very much in the business, but when your children are finishing school at 3:20 or whatever it is, it makes it quite a short day getting them on the bus and then picking them back up again after school. So we've kind of made that separation as to our roles. But lifestyle, yes, very important. I'm pretty, I draw a pretty hard line where weekends are for family and family time and all of that sort of thing, even though I do obviously still have to get some things done on the weekend and all of that sort of thing, but I kind of plan everything out so that I do have that time available.
Yeah. And incredible for them to see what you've built. And we've had them in shredding cardboard and all that sort of thing before. And you have very open work discussions all the time. Like they're just kind of part of it. They've been part of, obviously they're younger than the business. My mum and dad have always been very involved in the earlier years, like babysitting. Like we dragged them along to trade fairs. Like they've been through it all. I was like breastfeeding trying to set up at one trade fair. Oh, wow.
Danny's mum was like in a room out the back because obviously babies aren't allowed in the setup, and she'd be calling me, like, come on.
I love that though. Very supportive.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. We've got an amazing family network. And,
that's incredible.
But lifestyle's very important. And I think too, where we live, for me, it's that decompression as well. Like we live near the ocean. Danny and I swim and walk the beach every morning, even through
that would be
winter.
the dream.
But it's just that beautiful moment of like it's an amazing start to the day, like that hit of cold water and like the fresh air. It's the time that we get to ourselves where we can talk about things and
it's interesting actually, a lot of people talk about that sense of connection with nature or giving themselves that space to actually clear their thoughts.
Yes.
And
it's so essential.
have a bit more clarity.
Otherwise it's just all work and it can be very consuming.
Yeah, or traffic. Which
and I'd much rather the walk on the beach.
I know, same, rather than all this traffic. Before we wrap, I wanted to jump into the Her Edit questions. I'm interested to know this one. Can you remember your first design-related purchase you ever made?
I can actually. It was just after we were married in 2011.
Yeah.
And my oma had generously given us a cheque for our wedding, which allowed us to be able to afford a Jardin sofa.
Oh, amazing.
So I was very excited about that.
Have you still got it?
I've still got it, yeah.
Oh, that's good. No, I like that. I love that sort of sense of, furniture with a story.
Yes. Yeah. And so that was our first amazing piece of furniture.
Excellent purchase. Are there any items you're currently coveting? I'm sure you see a lot of pieces you like.
I see so many pieces, but you know what? I actually am coveting a new house.
A new house.
So that I can put those beautiful pieces in there. Part of our lifestyle has meant that we live on the ocean, but our house needs to be demolished.
Oh,
so it's in those stages. We've had some plans drawn up and things like that. So the goal is to, make that new house a reality, and then I'll be making my wish list of pieces I'll be covered in.
Brilliant. Next travel destination, actual or aspirational? I know you've done Milan this year. Is there anywhere else that would be on your hit list?
Gosh, anywhere in Europe is always on my list, I think, for the food and the culture and the experiences. But I'm not sure, to be honest. Mexico, potentially.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Just for a little bit of like the coast and colour.
Yeah.
But I was saying to Danny, we had an amazing family holiday to the States recently, and there's nothing better than family holidays. Like we just had so much fun.
And it's really special to share that with your kids.
So I'd love to find the next destination that we can do that all over again.
Yeah, incredible. Favourite creative icon, living or legend?
Oh, this is going to sound so cliche.
Is it our favourite Kelly?
Yes.
Well, she's doing it. Like, it's so funny. So many people say, "Oh, Kelly Whistle," but I saw her in person in New York recently, and it was funny. I said to a friend, when you see someone, you think, "Oh, I know that person."
Yeah.
I'm like, I actually don't know you.
Yeah.
She had quite a crowd around her.
I can imagine.
She's quite incredible.
Yeah.
Really.
It's the way that she is able to put things together.
Yeah. Like, it's a unique.
Yeah. It's amazing. And in ways that you would never expect, even, and I guess too, just going against all of the design rules. I guess too, like mixing of metals and all of that sort of thing.
And the scale of things.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's uncomfortably big or,
Yeah, and that's what I love. It's like you just put together the things that you love and then somehow make it work.
Yeah. No, she is very clever.
Yeah.
She's very clever. Final question. If your style was a celebrity, who would it be?
Oh, gosh. This is always a really tricky question, and I never have a totally clear answer. I have thought about this one a little bit, but I think for few and far, it needs to be somebody maybe like Sienna Miller.
Oh, she's very cool.
Just a bit understated.
Effortless.
But confident.
Yeah.
I know that she's kind of had a little bit of imposter syndrome every now and then.
Yeah.
But really grounded, but as you say, like understated, effortless style, and that's the closest I've gotten to.
Yeah,
for now.
she's a good one. Thank you so much for your time today, Tara. I've absolutely loved speaking to you, and I'm very excited to see what unfolds for you over the next 12 months.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. It was so good. Thank you.
Thank you.